Kambili thought her suffering was finally over. After years of poverty, betrayal, and heartbreak, she discovered her true father, gained a family, and found success beyond her dreams. But just when peace seemed within reach, a new storm began to gather. A jealous enemy was secretly planning revenge. A shocking inheritance would turn family members against each other. And the man slowly winning Kambili's heart was about to become the center of a dangerous conspiracy. This time, the battle was not for survival alone. It was for love, family, and a fortune powerful enough to destroy lives. Kambili stood before her mother's grave beneath the evening sky. The fresh earth still looked unreal. Though months had passed, every visit reopened wounds she thought time would slowly heal. Since discovering she was Mr. Fred's daughter, life had changed dramatically. She now managed expanding businesses, lived comfortably, and finally enjoyed opportunities she once considered impossible dreams. Yet, wealth could not erase painful memories. Some nights, she still remembered walking through crowded motor parks, carrying trays of plantain chips beneath unforgiving heat and exhaustion. Mr. Fred worked tirelessly to rebuild their relationship. Guilt followed him everywhere. He knew no amount of money could replace the years Kambili suffered without a father. One afternoon, Mr. Fred invited lawyers, business partners, and family members into his mansion. Everyone assumed it was another routine meeting concerning company expansion plans. Instead, he announced something shocking. He intended to prepare a new will. Silence filled the room immediately. Several relatives exchanged nervous glances while forcing polite smiles. Mr. Fred explained calmly that he wanted fairness and transparency. After surviving death, he understood life was unpredictable. He wanted his affairs settled before another tragedy arrived. Unknown to him, resentment instantly began growing among certain relatives. They believed Kambili had arrived from nowhere and suddenly received privileges they themselves desired desperately. Far away, inside prison walls, Isaac stared through narrow bars with burning eyes. Every day, anger consumed him. He blamed Kambili for everything he had lost. Although evidence proved his crimes, Isaac refused responsibility. In his mind, Kambili had stolen his father's affection, exposed his secrets, and destroyed the future he expected. One evening, another inmate approached Isaac quietly. The man had connections outside prison and frequently exchanged messages with dangerous individuals involved in criminal activities nationwide. As they spoke, Isaac revealed his bitterness openly. He promised that once freedom returned, he would make Kambili regret every moment she had enjoyed afterward. Meanwhile, Kambili focused entirely on work. Her dedication impressed employees and customers alike. Sales increased steadily, earning admiration from people who once doubted her abilities. During a business conference in Lagos, Kambili met a young entrepreneur named Daniel. He owned several successful agricultural companies and carried himself with quiet confidence. Unlike many wealthy men, Daniel treated everyone respectfully. He listened more than he spoke. His humility immediately stood out in a room filled with arrogance. Their first conversation lasted only minutes, yet something felt different. Daniel admired her journey, while Kambili appreciated his sincerity and genuine interest beyond business matters. Weeks passed, and their paths crossed repeatedly. Professional discussions slowly became friendly conversations. Shared values created comfort between them, and an unexpected connection quietly developed. Mr. Fred noticed the growing friendship. Rather than interfering, he observed carefully. Daniel seemed responsible, hardworking, and honest, qualities he desperately wanted around his daughter. One morning, lawyers arrived with completed documents. Mr. Fred officially signed his revised will. Most of his business empire would eventually pass to Kambili. News of the will spread faster than expected. Relatives who previously welcomed Kambili suddenly changed. Hidden jealousies surfaced beneath smiles and carefully chosen words. Among them was Teresa, Isaac's mother. Though devastated by her son's imprisonment, she secretly believed Kambili had taken everything her family should have inherited. Late one evening, Teresa received an unexpected phone call. The voice belonged to Isaac. Prison restrictions could not stop him from communicating through questionable channels. Isaac listened carefully as his mother explained the new will. Rage exploded inside him. Learning that Kambili would inherit everything strengthened his desire for revenge. That same night, Isaac made a dangerous promise. He swore Kambili would never enjoy the fortune waiting for her. Someone would stop her first. Unaware of approaching danger, Kambili attended another meeting with Daniel. As they laughed together, hope slowly returned to parts of her heart. Neither of them noticed a man watching from across the street. Hidden beneath darkness, he photographed them carefully before sending the images elsewhere immediately. Daniel and Kambili spent more time together during the following weeks. Their friendship deepened naturally. For the first time since her mother's death, Kambili genuinely smiled often. Daniel admired her strength, but he admired her kindness even more. Despite everything she endured, she treated workers respectfully and helped struggling families whenever possible. One afternoon, Daniel invited Kambili to visit one of his agricultural projects. She accepted. The journey revealed how dedicated he was toward improving local communities. As they walked through green fields, Daniel shared stories about his childhood struggles. Unlike many wealthy people, he had built his success through years of sacrifice. Kambili felt comfortable around him. There was no pressure, no manipulation, and no hidden agenda. His presence brought peace she had rarely experienced before. Meanwhile, Isaac continued planning from prison. His bitterness grew stronger daily. Through criminal contacts, he arranged secret meetings with individuals willing to perform dangerous tasks. One visitor regularly carried messages between Isaac and certain people outside. Money moved quietly through hidden channels, keeping his plans alive despite imprisonment. Teresa also became increasingly hostile toward Kambili. She blamed her for everything. Each mention of Kambili's name reopened wounds created by Isaac's arrest and disgrace. One evening, Teresa attended a family gathering. Relatives whispered about the new inheritance arrangements. Their conversations revealed jealousy, greed, and growing resentment toward Kambili. Several family members believed Kambili did not deserve Mr. Fred's fortune. They ignored her painful history and focused only on the wealth she might inherit. At the mansion, Mr. Fred remained unaware of how serious the hostility had become. He concentrated on expanding businesses and strengthening his relationship with Kambili. One morning, Daniel visited the mansion officially. After greeting everyone respectfully, he asked Mr. Fred for permission to court Kambili properly. The request surprised Kambili completely. Her cheeks warmed with embarrassment while Mr. Fred studied Daniel carefully before breaking into a slow smile. Mr. Fred appreciated the young man's honesty. Rather than pursuing secret relationships, Daniel approached the matter with maturity and respect. That earned his immediate admiration. After a thoughtful conversation, Mr. Fred gave his blessing. Kambili felt overwhelmed. Life had once seemed hopeless, yet happiness now appeared within reach. News of their relationship spread quickly. Employees celebrated quietly, believing Kambili deserved joy after years of suffering and hardship. Unfortunately, the same news reached Isaac. Hearing about Daniel filled him with fresh anger. He hated seeing Kambili build a future while he remained imprisoned. Determined to destroy her happiness, Isaac instructed his contacts to investigate Daniel thoroughly. If weaknesses existed, he intended to exploit every single one. The investigation revealed something interesting. Years earlier, Daniel's family had faced a financial scandal. Though Daniel himself was innocent, rumors still existed. Isaac immediately saw opportunity.
Through intermediaries, he paid people to revive old accusations and spread damaging stories throughout business circles and social media. Within days, whispers began circulating. Some questioned Daniel's integrity, others exaggerated past events until fiction sounded almost believable to outsiders unfamiliar with facts. Kambili noticed the sudden change. Potential business partners became cautious. Invitations disappeared. Daniel remained calm, but she could see concern behind his eyes. Mr. Fred launched his own investigation. Experience taught him that rumors often appear whenever successful people threaten powerful interests and hidden enemies. The truth emerged quickly. Evidence showed coordinated efforts behind the smear campaign. Someone was deliberately targeting Daniel, though identifying the mastermind remained difficult. As they discussed the situation one evening, an anonymous package arrived at the mansion. Inside were photographs showing Kambili and Daniel together. The photographs seemed harmless at first. Then they noticed a chilling note attached beneath them. "This wedding will never happen. The countdown has begun."
The threatening note unsettled everyone inside the mansion. Mr. Fred immediately increased security measures. Although he appeared calm outwardly, deep concern weighed heavily upon him. Kambili tried remaining strong, yet fear quietly entered her thoughts. After surviving countless hardships, she knew danger often arrived when life finally seemed stable. Daniel refused to leave her side. He attended meetings with her, checked on her constantly, and reassured her whenever anxiety threatened to overwhelm her. Meanwhile, investigators hired by Mr. Fred continued searching for the source of the threats. Every lead pointed toward experienced criminals skilled at hiding evidence. Inside prison, Isaac received updates regularly. Learning that the threats frightened Kambili brought satisfaction. He believed he was slowly regaining control over events. One evening, a prison officer overheard suspicious conversations involving Isaac. Concerned by what he heard, the officer quietly reported the matter to authorities. Unfortunately, before investigators could act, another attack occurred. A truck suddenly rammed into one of Kambili's company vehicles during a business trip. Thankfully, Kambili had chosen a different car that morning. The accident injured several employees, but failed to reach its intended target. The incident shocked the city. Newspapers reported the attack widely. Questions emerged whether it was a coincidence or a deliberate assassination attempt. Mr. Fred no longer doubted the seriousness of the situation. Someone clearly wanted Kambili harmed. The threats had moved beyond intimidation into dangerous action. As pressure increased, Daniel proposed something unexpected. He suggested postponing wedding plans temporarily until authorities identified whoever was targeting them. Kambili understood his reasoning, yet disappointment filled her heart. She had waited so long for happiness, and once again, circumstances threatened to delay it. That night, she visited her mother's grave alone. Sitting quietly beneath the moonlight, she spoke softly, as though Nekechi could still hear. She shared her fears, her hopes, and her confusion. Tears rolled freely down her cheeks, while memories of childhood struggles returned vividly. At the same time, Teresa faced growing emotional turmoil. Despite her anger, she could not ignore disturbing truths emerging about Isaac's recent activities. Law enforcement officers eventually questioned her regarding suspicious financial transactions connected to criminal networks. Initially, Teresa denied everything, but guilt weighed heavily upon her. The evidence became impossible to ignore. Secret transfers, hidden communications, and witness statements all pointed toward Isaac's continued involvement in dangerous schemes. For the first time, Teresa wondered whether she had enabled her son's darkness.
years of protecting him suddenly appeared as painful mistakes. Days later, authorities obtained permission to search additional records connected to Isaac. What they discovered shocked even seasoned investigators handling the case. Messages revealed that Isaac had not only arranged attacks against Kambili, he had also planned to eliminate anyone standing between him and inheritance. Daniel's name appeared repeatedly, so did Mr. Fred's. The realization horrified investigators. The danger surrounding the family was far greater than expected. Police moved quickly. Extra protection surrounded the mansion while warrants were prepared. News of the investigation remained confidential to avoid alerting accomplices prematurely. Before arrests could begin, disaster struck again. One of Isaac's hired men infiltrated a company warehouse and secretly planted explosives inside the building. The plan was simple and cruel. The warehouse would explode during an upcoming inspection attended by Kambili, Daniel, and several senior managers. Hours before the scheduled visit, an anonymous caller contacted Mr. Fred. The voice spoke only one sentence before disconnecting. "Save your daughter while you still can." Mr. Fred immediately realized time was running out. As he rushed toward the warehouse with police assistance, he feared they might already be too late. Mr. Fred drove towards the warehouse with police vehicles close behind. His hands trembled on the steering wheel. Every second felt painfully important. Inside the warehouse, Kambili and Daniel reviewed inventory reports alongside managers. None of them suspected hidden explosives waited silently among stacked supplies nearby. Suddenly, police sirens echoed outside. Confusion spread across the building. Workers exchanged nervous glances while wondering why officers had arrived unexpectedly. Mr. Fred burst through the entrance shouting warnings. His voice carried urgency and fear. Everyone immediately sensed something terrible was about to happen. Without hesitation, security teams evacuated workers, police officers searched quickly. Minutes later, they discovered explosive devices hidden within several storage sections. The entire warehouse was cleared just in time. Bomb disposal experts worked carefully and successfully prevented a catastrophe that could have claimed many lives. Kambili stood outside shaking. Looking at the building, she realized how close death had come once again. Tears filled her eyes instantly. Daniel wrapped his arms around her protectively. He said nothing. Sometimes comfort required presence rather than words. Kambili leaned against him silently. The failed bombing changed everything. Authorities now possessed overwhelming evidence linking Isaac and his criminal associates. Additional arrests followed immediately. Several accomplices confessed after intense questioning. Their statements revealed detailed plans targeting Kambili, Daniel, and Mr. Fred. When investigators confronted Isaac with the evidence, his confidence disappeared. The network he trusted had collapsed completely around him. Meanwhile, Teresa finally visited her son in prison. The meeting was heartbreaking. For the first time, she looked at him honestly. She asked one question: why? Isaac struggled for answers. Beneath his anger, he found only jealousy, entitlement, and years of selfish choices. Tears rolled down Teresa's face. She realized wealth had blinded them both. In protecting Isaac from consequences, she had helped create disaster. Back at the mansion, life slowly began stabilizing. Security remained strong, but fear no longer controlled every decision or conversation. Weeks later, the court delivered its final judgment. Isaac received additional sentences for organizing attacks, conspiracy, and attempted murder against multiple victims. The verdict brought relief throughout the family. Justice had finally arrived. No punishment could erase suffering, but accountability mattered deeply. After the trial, Mr. Fred gathered relatives, lawyers, and business partners once more. This time, the atmosphere felt completely different. Standing before everyone, he officially confirmed his will. Kambili would inherit leadership responsibilities and significant assets when the time eventually came. Some relatives still felt disappointed, but most accepted reality. Kambili had earned respect through hard work, integrity, and perseverance over many years. Then came another important moment. Daniel stepped forward and asked Kambili to marry him in front of everyone gathered there. The room fell silent. Kambili covered her mouth in surprise. Daniel spoke from his heart, promising partnership, loyalty, and unwavering support. Mr. Fred watched proudly as tears filled his daughter's eyes. Unlike years lost forever, this moment represented a future still possible. With a trembling smile, Kambili accepted. Applause filled the room. Even those who once doubted her celebrated the joyful occasion warmly. Months later, their wedding became one of the city's most memorable events. Friends, workers, and family members gathered to share happiness. During the reception, Kambili looked at her mother's framed photograph and smiled softly. Her journey proved a powerful truth. Destiny delayed is never destiny denied.